but now stood before him as a figure of loss and despair. It was a feeling that transcended fear, one that connected him to the Elephant King in a way he could never have anticipated. And in that connection, he found the courage to lower his spear, choosing to meet the great beast with an open heart. As the moment of connection between Njoroge and the Elephant King hung in the air, the tension thickened. It was a moment that could have gone either way. One misstep could lead to disaster. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath, the leaves whispering secrets in the wind as both the warrior and the beast stood their ground, testing each other's resolve. Njoroge could feel his heart racing, adrenaline coursing through his veins. He was acutely aware of the sheer size and power of the Elephant King, but he also felt something else, a strength of spirit that urged him to continue. With his spear lowered, Njoroge took a cautious step forward, his eyes locked onto the Elephant King. The great beast was massive, towering over him, and as Njoroge approached, he felt both awe and trepidation. The Elephant King let out a rumbling sound that resonated deep within Njoroge's chest, a sound that could be interpreted as a warning, a reminder of the danger that lay ahead. But Njoroge stood firm, knowing that this encounter was more than just a test of physical strength. It was a clash of wills, of intentions, and of understanding. "Great King," Njoroge said, his voice steady despite the fear bubbling beneath the surface. "I know that you are angry, that you have suffered greatly. The destruction you have caused in my village is not just a consequence of your power. It is a reflection of the pain you carry within you." Njoroge spoke earnestly, hoping to break through the walls of anger that surrounded the great beast. The forest seemed to lean in, as if listening to his words, urging him to continue. The Elephant King shifted slightly, his ears flapping, but he did not move away. Instead, he seemed to consider Njoroge's words as if weighing them against the burden of his own experiences. It was a moment of profound silence, a space where time seemed to stand still, and Njoroge seized it. "I come seeking peace, not conflict. I wish to understand the source of your pain, to find a way for our worlds to coexist. We can break the cycle of anger together." In that moment, Njoroge felt a flicker of hope. He was not just facing an animal driven by rage. He was standing before a being that had endured unimaginable sorrow. The Elephant King let out a deep, resonant sound, a mix between a trumpet and a rumble, and Njoroge could feel the ground vibrating beneath him. The noise echoed through the forest, an expression of both power and vulnerability. The challenge was clear. If Njoroge wanted to find a way to restore balance, he would have to confront the deeper truths that lay within both himself and the Elephant King. As the standoff continued, Njoroge sensed the shifting energy between them, a dance of wills where each sought to understand the other. He took a deep breath, grounding himself in the moment, drawing strength from the forest around him. He thought of his village, of the people he loved, and of the sacrifices they had made. And in that moment of clarity, he realized that true strength lay not in the spear he held, but in the willingness to empathize and connect with another being. The battle was not one of violence, but one of hearts and minds. It was a clash of perspectives, a call to rise above the fear and anger that had divided them for so long. As the tension between Njoroge and the Elephant King lingered in the air, Njoroge felt an overwhelming need to know more. He sensed that the Elephant King was more than just an angry creature. He was a being burdened by a deep and ancient sorrow, a tale of betrayal that had woven itself into the fabric of his existence. It was in the great beast's eyes that Njoroge saw the echoes of a story long forgotten, a story that had shaped the Elephant King into the creature of wrath he had become. And it was a story that could hold the key to breaking the cycle of anger that had trapped them both. With newfound courage, Njoroge spoke again, this time with a gentler tone. "Great King, I wish to understand your story. There must be a reason for your wrath, a tale that has turned you from protector to destroyer. Please, share it with me. I am here to listen." The forest seemed to quiet around them, as if awaiting the Elephant King's response, and for a moment, Njoroge thought he felt a shift in the air, a sign that the great beast was ready to reveal his truth. The Elephant King took a deep breath, his large frame rising and falling, and then, slowly, he began to speak. Not with words, but through a series of low, rumbling sounds, a language that Njoroge could feel rather than hear. The vibrations resonated within him, telling a story of loss, betrayal, and a heart once filled with love. As Njoroge listened, he closed his eyes, allowing himself to be fully present in the moment, feeling the weight of the Elephant King's past pressing down on them both. He learned of an ancient king who had ruled the land long ago, a ruler who had once respected the bond between humans and animals. The king had built a kingdom where the forest and village existed in harmony, a place where the Elephant King had roamed freely, revered and honored as a protector of the land. But jealousy and greed had corrupted the heart of the king. He had turned against the very creatures he once cherished, casting them out in his desire for power, leading to a great betrayal that shattered the bond they once shared. As the story unfolded, Njoroge felt the depths of the Elephant King's sorrow. The great beast had witnessed the destruction of his kin, the betrayal of a bond that had once been sacred. The anger that now fueled him was born from that betrayal, a deep-seated rage that had festered over time, turning him into a figure of terror rather than a protector. The realization struck Njoroge like lightning. The Elephant King was not just a monster. He was a victim of circumstance, trapped in a cycle of pain and anger that he could not escape. Njoroge's heart ached for the creature before him. He understood that this legend of the cursed elephant was not just a story of violence. It was a tale of love lost, of a bond broken by human folly. He recognized the weight of the curse that had been placed upon the Elephant King, a curse that had transformed him from guardian to destroyer. And in that understanding, he felt a surge of empathy. He realized that to heal the Elephant King, he would need to help him confront the past, to find a way to release the anger that had consumed him for so long. The forest held its breath as Njoroge processed the story of the Elephant King's tragic past. He could feel the weight of the curse that had transformed the once great guardian of the land into a creature of wrath. The Elephant King's tale resonated deeply within him, echoing the fears and struggles of his own people. The anger that had consumed the elephant was not so different from the fear that gripped Njoroge's village. He realized that both the Elephant King and the villagers had suffered from betrayal, from a broken bond that needed to be mended. As Njoroge listened, he began to piece together the significance of the curse that had befallen the Elephant King. The once sacred relationship between humans and elephants had been shattered by greed and violence. And in the wake of that betrayal, the Elephant King had become a force of destruction rather than a protector. Njoroge understood that the Elephant King's rampages were not born out of malice, but from a desperate need to reclaim the power and respect that had been stolen from him. The king had roamed the land in search of something he had lost, a sense of purpose, a connection to the very people he once protected. With this newfound understanding, Njoroge felt a stirring within him, a desire to break the curse, to heal the rift that had formed between their worlds. He stepped forward, looking deep into the Elephant King's eyes, feeling a connection that transcended their differences. "Great King," he said, his voice steady and filled with conviction, "your story has opened my eyes. I see now that your wrath is not without reason. It is the pain of a past that still haunts you. But we have the power to change this story. Let us work together to lift this curse and restore the bond between your kind and my people. We can find a way to bring healing to both our worlds." The Elephant King regarded Njoroge with a gaze that seemed to search his very soul. In that moment, Njoroge could sense the flicker of hope within the great beast. The rumbling sounds that emanated from the Elephant King began to soften, transforming from a fierce roar into a gentle hum, as if he were contemplating the possibility of redemption. It was a sign that the Elephant King was willing to listen, to consider a new path, one that could lead to reconciliation and peace. Njoroge took a deep breath, gathering his thoughts. He realized that lifting the curse would not be easy. It would require courage, empathy, and a willingness to confront the pain of the past. "Let us meet the king of my village," he proposed. "Together, we can share your story, your pain. We can show them that you are not just a monster. You are a being deserving of respect and understanding. With their support, we can restore harmony to our land." The Elephant King tilted his massive head, his eyes shimmering with the hint of a tear. It was a powerful moment, a recognition that perhaps, together, they could rewrite the narrative that had defined their lives for so long. Njoroge felt a surge of determination as he realized that this was more than just about the Elephant King. It was about healing the wounds that had divided both their worlds. They could forge a new path, one that celebrated coexistence rather than conflict. But first, they needed to confront the king of Njoroge's village, the very ruler who had once instigated the fear that now gripped his people. Njoroge understood that convincing the villagers would not be easy. They had suffered too much at the hands of the Elephant King's wrath. However, he felt a spark of hope, knowing that if the village could see the truth of the Elephant King's story, they might find it in their hearts to forgive. He turned to the Elephant King, his voice resolute. "Will you come with me? Will you face my people, show them your true self, and let them hear your story?" The Elephant King's response was a deep, resonant rumble, a sound that reverberated through the forest like thunder. It was both an affirmation and a pledge, a promise to embark on this journey together. In that moment, Njoroge felt a bond form between them, an unspoken understanding that they were now allies, united in their quest for peace. As Njoroge prepared for the journey back to his village, he felt a profound transformation taking place within him. The encounter with the Elephant King had awakened something deep inside, an understanding that transcended fear and anger. He now recognized the importance of empathy, the power of connection, and the need to bridge the divide that had caused so much suffering. This wasn't just about confronting the Elephant King's rage. It was about healing the scars that had been etched into the hearts of both the villagers and the elephant. With the Elephant King by his side, Njoroge felt a surge of strength. The forest, once a realm of uncertainty, now felt like a sacred space filled with purpose. The trees whispered encouragement as they walked, and the air hummed with the energy of their shared mission. Each step forward was a testament to their commitment to forge a new narrative, one that honored both the past and the possibility of a brighter future. Njoroge's mind raced with thoughts of how to present the Elephant King's story to his village. He knew that the villagers were steeped in fear, having witnessed the destruction brought upon their crops and homes. He needed to convey not just the Elephant King's pain, but also the promise of reconciliation and healing. It would require him to dig deep, to harness the courage that had propelled him into the forest in the first place. As they approached the edge of the forest, Njoroge turned to the Elephant King. "You are not just a creature of anger. You are a living embodiment of the connection between our worlds. Together, we can show my people that you deserve a chance at redemption." The Elephant King responded with a gentle nudge of his trunk, a gesture filled with trust and gratitude. Njoroge understood that this was not just a journey for the Elephant King. It was a journey for him as well. He had to confront his own biases, his own fears, and embrace the lessons he had learned in the depths of the forest. With a newfound sense of purpose, Njoroge stepped out of the shadows of the trees and into the clearing where his village awaited. The sight was both comforting and daunting. His people were gathered, their faces a mixture of concern and curiosity, eyes searching for answers as they wondered what he would bring back from the forest. However, he felt a spark of hope, knowing that if the village could see the truth of the Elephant King's story, they might find it in their hearts to forgive. He turned to the Elephant King, his voice resolute. "Will you come with me? Will you face my people, show them your true self, and let them hear your story?" The Elephant King's response was a deep, resonant rumble, a sound that reverberated through the forest like thunder. It was both an affirmation and a pledge, a promise to embark on this journey together. In that moment, Njoroge felt a bond form between them, an unspoken understanding that they were now allies, united in their quest for peace. As Njoroge prepared for the journey back to his village, he felt a profound transformation taking place within him. The encounter with the Elephant King had awakened something deep inside, an understanding that transcended fear and anger. He now recognized the importance of empathy, the power of connection, and the need to bridge the divide that had caused so much suffering. This wasn't just about confronting the Elephant King's rage. It was about healing the scars that had been etched into the hearts of both the villagers and the elephant. With the Elephant King by his side, Njoroge felt a surge of strength. The forest, once a realm of uncertainty, now felt like a sacred space filled with purpose. The trees whispered encouragement as they walked, and the air hummed with the energy of their shared mission. Each step forward was a testament to their commitment to forge a new narrative, one that honored both the past and the possibility of a brighter future. Njoroge's mind raced with thoughts of how to present the Elephant King's story to his village. He knew that the villagers were steeped in fear, having witnessed the destruction brought upon their crops and homes. He needed to convey not just the Elephant King's pain, but also the promise of reconciliation and healing. It would require him to dig deep, to harness the courage that had propelled him into the forest in the first place. As they approached the edge of the forest, Njoroge turned to the Elephant King. "You are not just a creature of anger. You are a living embodiment of the connection between our worlds. Together, we can show my people that you deserve a chance at redemption." The Elephant King responded with a gentle nudge of his trunk, a gesture filled with trust and gratitude. Njoroge understood that this was not just a journey for the Elephant King. It was a journey for him as well. He had to confront his own biases, his own fears, and embrace the lessons he had learned in the depths of the forest. With a newfound sense of purpose, Njoroge stepped out of the shadows of the trees and into the clearing where his village awaited. The sight was both comforting and daunting. His people were gathered, their faces a mixture of concern and curiosity, eyes searching for answers as they wondered what he would bring back from the forest. It was a call to unity, a reminder of the strength found in understanding and compassion. As the rumble faded, Njoroge felt the energy of the village shift. The fear that had once held them captive was being replaced by a sense of possibility. They were beginning to see the Elephant King as more than just a threat. They were beginning to see him as a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even the greatest of beings could be redeemed. With the spirit of empathy taking root among the villagers, Njoroge knew that this was just the beginning of their journey toward healing. He turned to the Elephant King, who stood tall and dignified, radiating a sense of strength that was both reassuring and powerful. Njoroge felt a surge of gratitude for the great beast, knowing that their connection was now stronger than ever. It was time for them to delve deeper into the past, to understand not just the curse that had befallen the Elephant King, but also how they could work together to lift it. Njoroge took a step forward, his voice calm and steady. "Great King, I feel the weight of your sorrow, the burden of the curse that has trapped you for so long. If we are to mend our bond and bring peace to both our worlds, we must confront the truth of that curse. Can you share with us what it means to you? What can we do to help you find your way back to the light?" The Elephant King lowered his massive head, his eyes closing for a moment as he gathered his thoughts. The villagers watched in silence, their expressions a mixture of awe and curiosity. It was a moment filled with tension, the air thick with anticipation as they awaited the great beast's response. After a few moments, the Elephant King raised his head, his gaze meeting Njoroge's. A deep rumble resonated from within him, and Njoroge felt the vibrations travel through the ground, a message that transcended words. It was a powerful expression of sorrow, an echo of the betrayal he had endured, and a longing for connection that had been lost. Njoroge closed his eyes, allowing himself to feel the Elephant King's emotions wash over him. The pain of loss, the anger of betrayal, and the deep yearning for understanding were all woven into that rumble. It was a message that spoke to the heart of what it meant to be a protector, to carry the weight of the past while seeking a brighter future. "I hear you, great king," Njoroge said softly. "Your story is not just your own. It is the story of our people, of our struggles, and of the pain we all carry. The curse that binds you is not just your burden, it is ours as well. Together we can work to lift it." The villagers began to murmur amongst themselves, their fear gradually giving way to a sense of shared responsibility. They were beginning to understand that the journey ahead would not just be about confronting the Elephant King's anger. It would be about healing the rift that had formed between them. Njoroge stepped back, allowing the villagers to take in the moment. They were now faced with a choice, to continue down a path of fear or to embrace the spirit of empathy and understanding. As they looked at the Elephant King, Njoroge could see the flicker of hope igniting in their hearts. They were ready to explore the depths of the curse and to seek a path toward redemption. As Njoroge and the villagers stood together in the clearing, the air shimmered with possibility. They had come to a crucial moment in their journey, a moment where they could choose to rewrite the tale that had defined their existence for far too long. The Elephant King, once a figure of wrath, was now a beacon of hope, a living reminder of the strength found in understanding and forgiveness. Njoroge felt the weight of the villagers' eyes upon him, their hopes resting on the promise of a new beginning. He stepped forward once more, his voice carrying the conviction of his heart. "Let us not dwell on the past, but instead look to the future. Together, we can find a way to lift the curse that has bound us all, to reclaim the bond between our worlds that was shattered by greed and anger." He gestured to the Elephant King, whose presence commanded respect and awe. "The Elephant King has shown us that even the mightiest can be brought low by sorrow. But he also teaches us that redemption is possible, that healing can emerge from the ashes of anger. We must unite, work together, and create a new story, one that honors the past while embracing the future. The villagers exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from uncertainty to determination. Njoroge could sense the spirit of empathy igniting within them, a recognition that they were all connected by the same threads of life, love, and loss. They were ready to embrace the challenge before them, to confront the anger that had divided them, and to forge a path toward healing. With a collective breath, Njoroge continued, "Let us build a new relationship with the Elephant King, one based on understanding, respect, and coexistence. We will protect the land we share, honor the creatures that roam it, and nurture the bonds that tie us together. It is time to break the cycle of fear and anger, to sow the seeds of hope and love." The villagers nodded in agreement, their eyes shining with determination. The once quiet clearing was now filled with a chorus of voices, as they began to share their ideas on how to restore harmony between their worlds. They spoke of creating safe passages for the elephants, of cultivating the land in ways that honored both their needs and those of the great beasts. They envisioned a future where both villagers and elephants could thrive side by side, a future where they were no longer adversaries but partners in a shared existence. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden light over the clearing, Njoroge felt a surge of gratitude for the journey they had undertaken together. They had faced the darkness of fear and emerged into the light of understanding. It was a moment of transformation, a celebration of the power of empathy and connection. With the Elephant King at their side, Njoroge felt hopeful for the future. Together, they were not just rewriting their own stories. They were weaving a tapestry of healing and unity that would resonate through generations. As the village embraced their new path, Njoroge knew that the true magic lay not in the absence of conflict, but in the willingness to understand, to empathize, and to love. In that spirit, they would build a new legacy, one that honored both their histories and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. And so, the tale of the Elephant King and the villagers began anew. A story of redemption, connection, and the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the deepest of divides. And so the village was saved, not by bloodshed but by understanding. Njoroge had chosen the harder path, the path that healed both the land and the soul. The story of the Elephant King's revenge was passed down, a lesson carried by the wind for those who would listen. In the heart of every forest among the oldest of trees, there is a story waiting to be heard. Listen closely, and perhaps you will hear it too, of kings and warriors, and of the courage it takes to forgive. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more tales from the heart of Africa, like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay curious.